Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in there. My apologies, I didn't hit the button again. I've been talking to myself for 10 minutes. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. My name is Josh. This is the Gaming Joy channel, and we are still on... We're back on the Square by Square challenge. And we are doing a little bit of forestry. And then because I was talking to myself, you didn't hear anything I said in the past 20 minutes, so I'm gonna have to go start all over. We're cleaning up some trees. We got some more mowing to do, and then we're gonna create a field. We do have a couple of updates we've made. This trailer, which we were using last time, we actually replaced with a custom version, my own version, which basically has color selection and a bunch of tires. Tire options. I like these tires. These makes it look like a forestry trailer instead of a street trailer, which is kind of dumb. And then we also have another tractor over here. We have, if I can tab to it, we have the Alice. Now I know everyone is using this, the Agco white tractor. Personally, I think it's a great tractor. Chris and Riley did a great job adding some features to it. We're going to end up using that tractor to mow and do some field work. I can use this forestry tractor for field work, but I'd rather kind of just leave it set up for forestry and not have to constantly switch it back and forth. But welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. We are still waiting. And I think we're waiting along with every other modder in the community, or most of them, for Giants to actually test mods. I think that they're, for some reason, I don't think they're focused on testing mods right now. I think they're still probably working on a game patch or something like that, because testing list is now currently a month old, and we're still having some of the problems we had previously with the testing list, which is, is releasing stuff out of order and testing things out of order. And I think that that's still a problem. Welcome in, Dead Soul. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I don't get why they do that. I don't get why they test things out of order. And to me, that makes that really, really irritating. Look at it this way, right? So I follow some modders on ModHub. I get their mods from ModHub, but I also get them from their own websites when possible. I mean, with the lack of testing right now, that's really all you can do. And so what I mean by out of order is I've had mods, me and like I know another modder, Schultz, his Sell Anywhere mod has been, it was originally submitted for testing on November 21st. It's still not out. So he's been waiting over a month. But at the same time, I'm still waiting, and I've been waiting since the first second, but Loki somehow got out an update for Lumberjack, right? 1.1.2 that he released 4 days ago. So he released this change and submitted it to ModHub 4 days ago. But somehow it went through in 4 days, where there's other people who've been waiting for months, myself and others included. So I'm really failing to understand what the policy is or order of operations is when they can't seem to stick to anything. Yeah, and then they're going to go on holiday until January. Exactly, Dead Soul. So if they're going on holiday, what does that mean for... That means all of us who've been waiting for a month are now going to wait for another 3 weeks because the company's on holiday. And I get that. Go ahead, have your vacation. But where's the communication? right? Where's the how long we're supposed to wait? Like, I see a lot of modders going to external sites to release their mods. You know, whether it's itch or other places, and because they can't get it out on ModHub. Like, I don't get that. I mean, what are they thinking? And maybe it's just manpower, and I get that. I work in tech. I understand. Whoops, missed one. I understand needing to have enough people to do the work or test your mods or whatever. But that means that if you're understaffed, you hire people. Maybe hire people with experience in testing mods instead of what we're getting. I don't get it. So there were a couple mods. I think maybe it'll speed things up, Travis. I think they're already kind of at that point. There's only been one mod release, or there's only been a few mod releases for FS22. I know a few modders are just trying to get their existing work submitted so they can move on to 25. I get that. I accept that as well. I did the same thing. I released an update to one of my mods in 22 after 25 had been released. I get that. But I just really think they're understaffed. And I also, and this is something that I've been saying for a while, and this is my own opinion, and I don't know anything internally, but from what it feels like, appears, seems, I don't know, from an outsider's perspective, I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand how they're making decisions that don't make sense. And they're not supporting this modding community that they claim to be supporting. They say that they're supporting the modding community, but I don't agree that they're doing that at all. And it's clearly obvious in many cases that they're not. Let's get a rope on that one. I had submitted the farm fill stations as soon as I could, and it looks like 82 Studios also submitted his. I'm a little bit bummed about that, if I have to be honest. I was hoping that I would get mine out first. You know, it's a first come, first serve thing as far as popularity in many cases. And oh, look, we're getting trees still stuck in the ground. This is the tree stuck in the ground issue. The only way to get around it is to just mess with it until it gets out of the ground. Which obviously console players can't do. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, so just exactly Dead Soul. So Giants is being Giants again. Yeah. It's fine. Whatever. I did see the multi-fruit brine station by 82 Studios, and from the screenshots, I haven't played with it, but from the screenshots, it looks different. He made his, it looks like he changed the model, which is kind of what Giants is forcing people to do these days. And his model is very, very big, which, yeah, personally I don't like it, but sure. I'm biased, so I can't really stake a claim or an opinion on that subject because I am definitely biased. Has anyone figured out the hotkeys yet? And what I mean by that is, like, from what I thought your, like, 1 and 2 keys were supposed to be your hotkeys for chainsaw and stuff like that. That's what I thought. But they don't appear to be. Like, sometimes the chainsaw comes out when I hit the number 2. Sometimes it doesn't. I would expect hotkeys to be, like any other game, bound to a tool. Right? So, anytime you press a button, a specific tool shows up. Right? That's how, I don't know, gamers expect hotkeys to work. But it's not. And I'm sitting here manually using a chainsaw because that's what I want to do. And every time I pull out the chainsaw, I have to, like, press 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. Like, I feel like I'm trying to enter a cheat code or something. Like, hitting 1 makes it go away, but if I hit 2, now this flashlight comes out. Hit 2 again, now the flashlight goes away. I hit 2 again, now the... Like, what is that hotkey? That's really dumb. Oh, by the way, if you notice, I'm moving faster now. And that's because Loki... Not Loki. Was it Loki? Somebody released a player speed mod. I think it was Loki. Which works fantastic. I'm so glad to have my run speed finally back. When I run, I want to run. I don't want to, like, gently stroll. And the base game run speed is... I call it like a gentle stroll. It's kind of like the base game run speed feels like, you know, when you're in, like, middle school or something like that, and they tell you to go run the track. Half the people who are running the track are like, oh, I'm gonna take my sweet ass time and talk to my friends. That's what the run speed feels like in this game. Not actually running at all. But now it's much better. So whoever made that mod, I think it was Loki, but I could be wrong. Okay, fine. The trick here is to get the butt of the trees close together. Just looking at attach this one. And the one thing I don't like about this mod, or this base game mod, is like I want to use that front. I want to use that front thing, but I can't. Like, I can't, like, use the blade on the front while I'm using the thing. Like, they're locked. They're separate, sort of. Somehow. I don't know why. Oh, that's nice. I caught it just barely. Can't get it working. Hey, J Meister, Bruce Gaming, you guys, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Okay. Now we're gonna see if we can finagle the second rope. Yes, I got it. I got it. And there we go. 7 trees. Well, 6.5. Those little white trees aren't really trees. They're like an afterthought. And I think that's plenty of space. That stand of trees that's left has a couple good trees in it, so I'm probably not going to cut those. Or I'm going to cut them, but not now. I've been thinking about, as part of this challenge, when we expand, we can only expand, edge to edge with the land that we already own. And I've been trying to figure out which way to go. And if I go this way, there's a ton of trees and also some pretty flat land kind of up at the top of this hill. Except for the top of the hill, but overall the land is relatively flat. But if I go down the hill, I can go that way too. And there's lots of open land if I wanted to create fields. And going back towards the edge of the map, there's, it's more of this same hill. I'm trying to figure out which one is the one I want to go to first. Oh, I should have pulled my blade up. Oh, thanks, G-Meister. That was a couple weeks ago, but thank you very much. I got, let's get rid of this. I got a message this morning on YouTube where someone was saying happy birthday to me on my birthday community post, even though that post was like 3 weeks ago. I was like, thanks. By the way, I figured out the trick for this trailer. If anyone is using this trailer and you're using it with the universal auto load, when you set up the region, set it up so the bottom corner is right here on the sides. And then when it drops, because it always drops the logs, it'll spawn them within the region, so it has to be up here. It'll drop down to the bottom. Now let's see what work mode we're in. Worse and swathing. Thank you. Actually, before I go in here, I'm going to go ahead and paint. I'm going to paint over this ground and give me some good grass. Just because, yeah. I don't want to deal with the bushes. And it looks like we need some grass here. And there. Hi, deer. Hey, look, that's the first deer I've seen. Does anyone know if giants add any other animals? I really don't know. But that's the first deer I've seen, and at least it wasn't floating. Question from Tobo. Do I have a mod sample template? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like a template to start a new mod? Is that what you're asking, Tobo? If that is what you're asking, yeah, there it is. Okay, so I don't actually. I've been thinking about having a template, but since that template changes all the time, and since it's really contextual to what you're building, I'm not sure that it's worth building. And the reason for that is I believe that as a modder, and one of the things that I always advocate for is I've been in my live streams, especially for 25, I've been teaching how to take something existing and use that as your starting template. So what I typically will do is take something very simple, like the government subsidy sign, or like that Kuhn subsoiler plow that Giants release, and use a Giants mod. Don't use somebody else's mod. Use a Giants mod. And use that. And then the other thing you can do is, if you have Giants Editor, there is a feature in Giants Editor called like create mod from template or something like that. Where is it? I don't have it open. They have a ability to take a base game vehicle and use that base game vehicle as a template or as a new mod, and then it generates all of the default XML, mod desk, all that kind of stuff for you, which is a pretty cool feature. But it's such a simple process that, like, you literally just take something like government subsidy, go into the mod, delete, change the name from government subsidy to yourself, change the XML name to whatever you want to do, and then start making your mod. And because the mod desk is changing all the time, every time they release an update where they're changing the mod desk number, even that number is changing. What I like to do personally when I'm structuring like the folders and stuff is normally I don't put folders into a mod. If it's simple, I won't put a folder. But as soon as I have more than one file of a particular type, so as soon as I have, like, let's say, more than one XML file for a mod of some kind, or more than one building, or more than one thumbnail, or more than one ID3 file, then I'll create a folder for that type. So I'll create a folder for XML, and I'll create a folder for I3Ds. I'll create a folder for icons, just to keep the overall mod somewhat tidy. But it's not even required. The folder structure within the mod, there is no structure. You do whatever you want. It's totally the Wild West. Which some people like. Some people are like, that's confusing. Why don't you just set some standards, Giants, and say that this is the structure that we're supposed to have? I'm cool with it either way. I don't mind that there's no structure. I don't mind that there's no really official way to do it. That kind of leaves it up to me, us, whoever wants to do it, to make it our own. Structure it however it makes sense to us. Which I think is fine. I got no problem with that. But I will be releasing an actual, like, tutorial style video on how to do exactly what I just said, which is how to start with an existing mod and turn it into your own, which is totally the way you should do it. So we got our thing. It wasn't colorable, and apparently it's still not colorable. Never mind. I was gonna say we can color it now, but I don't have the latest version of that mod on here. So I guess it's not colorable. Oh well. We're just gonna kind of quickly, very, very quickly collect all this grass. Using the VPW system so that we can move on to plowing. You can see the new markers on the outside edge, just kind of floating there. Like really far out. They're out at 30 meters now. A 30-meter width, which makes VPW pretty awesome. I still only have the forage wagons done. I've been focusing on other mods instead of this one, just because this one takes a long time to do. But hopefully people like the new width when it comes out. And since Giants is on break soon, and probably as of today, actually, they're already on break. I have until the 6th of January to submit stuff, and then I can wait until, you know, March or April before anything that I submit is released. That's about the time frame, right? March, April. I can't believe we've been like at the peak, the absolute peak of waiting for mods in 22. The testing list was never longer than 3 weeks. And I've had mods take longer than that to go out, but it's usually because they're processing, you know, that there's stuff is happening in the background that makes the mod take longer. Or like, you know, they submit it to me, they find an error, that something they don't like, they send it back, they submit it to me again, blah 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 blah, over and over and over. And when that over and over process happens, sometimes that causes it to take longer. Yeah, editing base game stuff is really easy, and they Giants now provides a system. Giants now provides a system within GE to do those kind of edits much easier than they used to. Nope, no. So we're using Dom's mod. I have an early version of the SP10M, which is Ridiculous Dominic's plow. This one will extend. I'm currently using it in its folded position, just testing it for him, making sure that it's all good before he submits it. I forgot to turn off stones because I don't want a stone pick. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off stones for now. Settings. Fieldstone off. Yeah, off. I don't want fieldstones for now. So we're testing this for Dom so that he can release it. It's working pretty well. I helped him figure out a couple things. One thing with this version is the animations appear not to be working. There is an effect animation that looks like a plowing texture thing, but that effect animation appears not to be working. I don't see any errors in the log, so it may just be positioned wrong. But yeah, like, going back to what Tobo says, like, in all honesty, editing base game stuff and making edits to base game stuff is a really great way to learn how to mod, because you're not editing base game stuff directly. Obviously, that's never recommended. You should always be editing your own copy. Oh wait, I wanted to do this. I know. Whoops. Construction. There's a hill right here I wanted to fix. here, here. Smooth that out a little bit. Yeah, you should never be editing the base game equipment directly. While you can, basically your edits will go away. What happens if you edit a base game equipment that's actually in your data directory? If you do it by accident or do it on purpose, I've done both. If you edit something in the base game by accident or on purpose, what'll happen is you will see your edit in the game. It will work. But as soon as Giants releases another version of the game, when the game compares the next version of the game, whatever that is, with your files will be different. And it'll be like, oh, these files are corrupt because they're different. And so it'll download new versions. Yeah, that's right, Bruce. Not yet. He's still working on the last thing to make it available for all. I actually sent it. He sent it to me so that I could help him fix it. And I helped him fix one of the last issues he was having with it, so that he can send it out. This is my favorite way to use this plow, which is to start off by doing a small thing, then expand it to its full width, and then do the actual plowing. So I actually think this may be the broken version that he sent me, not the actual final version that's going to go out. There is a slight chance of that. Yes, he's getting very close. And for a lot of modders, the biggest problem with moving mods to 25, and I went through the same thing, is that a lot of these things that they've added to make modding better, they require a change in the way you do things. Like, I went through this at work, and I was trying to explain this to someone at work. Whoops. I was trying to explain this to someone at work where we released a new version of a piece of software that everyone uses. And we released like a 1.0, 2, like we went from like version 3 to version 4, which is a major version change. And we didn't require people to do it. We didn't require people to update. It was, okay, this is your update. And we've made it as easy as possible. We documented it. Oh my God, we wrote documentation. And we told people, please make this change. Please update your code to be in line with this and to use the new version as soon as possible. And then I got feedback from someone saying that they felt that us making that change was unreasonable, and it was we were making a breaking change, and we were forcing people to get in line and do extra work. And I'm like, that's not how that works. That's not how releases work. When you make a major version change, you make a version change. You tell people about it. You let them know. You provide tools and documentation on how to make that change, which means we've done everything we can in our realm to make sure that that upgrade goes as smoothly as possible. That's how software development works. Giants doesn't do that, though. I mean, if you think about it, version FS25 is a major version change. Giants Editor 10, major version change. And so to go in line with that major version change, lots of things need to change. Lots of things need to update. But the part that Giants isn't doing, which most software companies do, this is where it's different, this is what I tend to complain about, is there's no documentation. So normally you make a breaking change, you give people a description of not, hey, what are the new features, which is all we've gotten so far, but it's more of a um it's more in the realm of the way they do it is they're just releasing new changes and they don't document it. And they say, oh, there's going to be documentation, but that documentation hasn't been released yet. There's no guides on how to convert from A to B. It just doesn't exist. There's no guides on, okay, this is the way you used to do it. Now, do it this way. That piece is the piece that's missing. And I think that's the piece that a lot of modders are very much upset about. And I get it. But I don't let that kind of stuff stop me. And I think that's where maybe the way I look at things is a little bit different than other people. I know there's some modders out there who are literally waiting for that documentation to get released to start working. Right? And instead of doing that myself, I'm like, okay, no, let's try things, willing ourselves to fail if possible, and then figure out what those new rules are. Right? That's the way I do it. Hi, simulator YouTuber. I totally saw you come in. I'm sorry for not saying something. My apologies. I want to get my thought out. One of the things I'm actually really liking about the new game is I like the cloud cover with the shadows. I think the clouds are moving way too fast. That's not how fast clouds move. Like, I have set my time set to real time. Clouds do not move that fast. So I like the idea, but the speed is much too much. Oh, I'm sorry, you need some new stuff. I know. We all need new stuff to test. We need some new mods. And unfortunately, because... and this was actually... Dust Bunny posted this in a few places today, but I already knew that this was happening. Is that you have... What we thought... in FS22 used to be a safe place to download mods, which was King Mods. King Mods is now pretty much acting like a scraper site. They're doing all of the same really dumb stuff that scraper sites do, where they're finding mods in other places and either letting users upload them or uploading them themselves, and rehosting those things to make money off of ad revenue, which sucks. Stealing people's mods is not cool. Even if you're just downloading them and then rehosting them, that's still stealing. You're making a profit through whatever ad revenue or anything else off of someone else's hard work. And that just sucks. That just totally brings the whole modding community down. So if you didn't know, now you know. King Mods is no longer safe. They are blatantly allowing people to upload stolen copies of other modders' stuff. And even when those things are reported, like when FS22 or 25 first came out, I reported dozens of mods. They were obviously stolen to King Mods through their mod reporting system. They didn't do anything about it. Whereas before, they used to actually care. And they used to actually take down stolen mods when someone uploaded a stolen edit or whatever, or didn't give credit to the original author. They used to care about that stuff. Unfortunately, King Mods doesn't care anymore. I have a couple new things on this kind of mods-only playthrough. Obviously, we're using Kristen Riley's tractor here, which is a very, very nice edit. I think all they added was horsepower and some color selection, but both of those things are totally welcome now. From what I understand, Bruce, I mean, hearsay so far. I don't have any proof myself. Again, that's hearsay. That's the latest news. But from what I understand, yes, that's true. This is a much bigger field than I thought it was going to be. We're just going to do grass for now. I want to test out, because we don't really have tools for other stuff. And once we actually get a harvester, or have money for a harvester, we'll actually do some crops. Which will be fun, because it'll be the first crops that I'll have planted or harvested in 25. I've been doing lots of testing, but I actually haven't, like, planted a field. Do we still have to roll fields? I got a roller just in case. I think I did. Did I get a roller? Was I smart enough to get a roller? Rollers. Yes, I have this one. Which is only 6 meters, but it's not bad. Design roller. I like how this is their idea of a grassland roller. Like, the wheels are still, like, crazy. But that's a grassland roller. And then this one is a grass roller. But they call it a land roller. Whoa. No, that's not what I see. I was in the menu for just a second too long. And I don't think I can fix that. I don't think I can fix that. Can I? Okay, I guess I can. I don't want my field over here. My field to stay where it was. Nope. Nope, don't go down. That would be my assumption, is that the way they're hosting it, they're basically finding mods, posting them, getting ad revenue until someone can claim them. The part that I'm not sure about and that I would like to know more about would be if King Mods is doing it themselves, and if they're honoring a modder to claim their stuff. Which actually, I should actually check to see and make sure my stuff isn't being updated or uploaded. Because most of my stuff is public on GitHub. But that doesn't stop someone like from King Mods or somewhere else to upload that externally and make it public. And I don't make any money off of GitHub. So. I got a question for the folks who are watching. And we can actually do this as a poll, because polls are fun. Start a poll. We're going to do... Oops, wrong keyboard. From your perspective, does the fact that when I'm sharing some of my stuff, some of my stuff on GitHub, does that detract, do you think, from the public availability of my mods? I don't really know. I mean, I'm a software developer, so GitHub is natural for me. But from a user perspective, I don't really know. Like, is downloading on GitHub annoying enough that you don't want to do it? And should I be reposting some of those same things over on like itch.io? I don't really know. Itch.io does have the ability to set prices for mods and take quote-unquote payments. While that would be nice, that's not really what I'm after. Like, it would be cool, but I'm not here to make money. I'm here to have fun and share my crazy ideas with you guys. So, for me, like, everything that I'm building is on GitHub in some way or another. Even some of the mods you guys haven't seen yet, like BPW, that's also on GitHub. It's just currently private. I'll make it public when I'm ready to release it, but you know what I mean? All I can think of, and the reason I've stayed away from, not really stayed away, but the reason I haven't done something on itch.io or somewhere else is because that takes time to set up, takes time to manage, takes time to publish. That means anytime I publish something, I'll have to upload it in multiple places. Like, it's kind of annoying. Just extra work, which takes me away from building the next mod. If that makes any sense. Let me know, and if you're watching this in the replay, let me know in the comments below what you think. Should I make a copy of stuff on itch.io, and so it kind of gets with the itch.io modding community? Even if I will always have GitHub be the source of, quote-unquote, the source of truth. But I could just have a copy of them on itch and share things there. It would be great if itch supported GitHub, where I could just say, hey, itch, share this mod. This is the current release. This is the description. Go. And it would, like, read the markdown from the index, from the README, and just use that. The gearing for this tractor is a little weird. I feel like it's struggling to go so slow. But I always version control everything that I'm doing. And what version control is basically kind of saving historical copies of a point in time for all the work that I'm doing for modding. So I make a change and I fix it, and I save that change. And if for whatever reason, or I start a new idea and that idea doesn't work, I can just roll back to the previous version and not have to worry about, like, undoing things and forgetting to undo something. Like, it gives me version control. And it also gives me a second place that it's kept, so I can always rebuild the mod from the code that's on GitHub. So if I lose the zip file or hard drive goes corrupt or something like that, it's saved somewhere else, external, and I can get to any version of it that I want. I'm currently on Contract Boost working on an update to hopefully support servers. So right now Contract Boost does work on a server, but one of the features, which is the collecting straw bales feature, by default that setting is off, and right now settings are not working on a server. So the only way to change the settings that a server is using is by actually editing the mod directly, which I don't want people to do. the settings menu, for whatever reason, is not working on the servers. So I'm trying to fix that, but the downside is that I have to rewrite everything to get that to work. Everything. Not everything, but I have to rewrite a lot of it. Alright, there we go. There's our first field. I saw a wood thing here. Such a good animation. Dom did a great job with the open and close animation on this thing. It just looks so smooth. This is kind of my yard here. I'm just going to dump in stuff right here in front of the... What I should do. Construction. I'm going to put it in the short grass around here. Just to get rid of these dumb bushes. Medium grass, maybe? Whoa, what's going on? All these bushes being in my farm is, or quote-unquote yard, is kind of bothering me. And then I have to do one more thing, which is to smooth something out. It's not restricted. Smooth this out just a little bit. Keeping a grassy yard for now. There we go. Much better. Still a bush or two here. That's fine. So we do have a new mod that we got from Itch. And we have yet to use it. So I don't know if it works. It actually does already have a bug in it. Which is maybe something I'll fix, maybe not. Depends on how well it works today. So we're going to open these. Drive up to our field work fill station and hopefully fill them up. Seeds, start. Yes. Start. Nice. Oh, okay. And then this one, peas. Now this whole thing, like, this has always been a problem with FS22. JD Warner, welcome in. How do I get this thing to unfold? Whoa, that's kind of cool. Whenever you have two implements on the back, it has this like weird problem where sometimes it won't plant the same crop. So you have to be very careful to make sure that they're planting the same crop. So I need to go into here and go out of the farmland menu, go to crop types. Yeah, see, it's planting grass and wheat. Which means the right one, disconnect that one. This one is grass. This one, now they're both grass. But because I planted something, I now have to disconnect and get my plow that little spot up again, and do it again. It, you know, I don't know how big it is. Does the game tell you anymore? Yeah, the map hasn't even updated yet. What's going on? I like how the map has not updated. Like, what's going on here, people? Really? Oh, there it is. Crop types. That's weird. It's not showing as plowed. You guys see that? Oh, it is showing as plowed. But why is it like this? That's super weird. Okay, that's not what I care about right now. We have to replow. One of those little pieces. Just make sure we don't want wheat in the middle of our grass field. Can I just turn it on or something stupid? I was hoping, actually, I'm still hoping that we see in this video, and I might speed up time just to make sure we can see it. Buildable log cabin. Oh, we're going to see it in just a second. Here, let's speed up time so we can see it. So this log cabin should show its first stage in any second now. I'm going to speed up time. All of the existing stuff that we've put in, it should be all used up any second. Is that all I get? Is those two little posts? I kind of saw that. No. Come on. Now it needs cement bags, planks long, and wood beam. I should have left stones on and rock picked. Damn it. But it's all I got with these four posts. That's kind of lame. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for more. I'll be honest. I was hoping for more. But now we need cement bags. And we don't have cement bags, nor do we have a cement plant. I might use the same one I used on Bhutan. Okay. So this seeder doesn't need to be turned on. It seeds without being turned on, which is great. And then let's check to make sure, okay, we're getting grass. That's what we wanted. And there we go. We are seeding our first field, and we're gonna have to roll this field, I believe. Let's look. I don't actually know. Do you need to roll grass seed now? Needs rolling. Yeah, it needs rolling. I do dislike the fact they used almost the exact same color for watered and rolling. That's a failure as far as I'm concerned. So because we're going to need stones, because we're going to need to do a production of some kind to get... Whoops. Oh. Because we're going to need this production of some kind to make cement. We're going to need not only to get stones, and there is no stones on this map. There's no stone production. We could potentially just go buy it. Yeah, so this is actually, I believe, JCL farm equipment over on Itch. One of the cool things with this seeder is that he has 4 or 5 historical versions of this seeder in one pack, where the mods changes slightly depending on the year you pick, which I think is really cool. And not only that, on the itch page, it listed out the models that he's including, what those models years were, when they were released, all that stuff, which I think is a pretty cool level of detail. You know, basically stating that, you know, and keeping it historically accurate. I may just leave them alone. I think I'm probably going to leave them alone. I was hoping for, when the case 5100 came out for FS22, it was like not the small one, it was the bigger version. It was like, I want to say, it wasn't 6 meters, it was like 5 meters maybe. So the one we had on 22 was bigger. And I like the bigger one. Server. Noob plays, welcome in. Thanks for being here. And JD Warner, welcome in. How's it going? Nice. Unfortunately, we're not having a very entertaining live right now because we're just seeding with these new seeders. I don't know. No one else has seen these seeders before, so... They are having problems, though, if you look. They're missing stuff. And they're not, like, the ground contact is very, very twitchy. I'm gonna have to do some cleanup around the edges for sure. But they were done well. I think it's funny that they use the weird row crop tires. Yeah, I just missed some spots. I can clean those up. Noob plays. I don't have any idea what you're saying. Partially because you seem to be talking in another language, or not willing to use all of the vowels in words so that I can understand you. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I am live. This is a live stream. I am doing this live. If that answers your question. As always with these kind of mods, they're impossible to back up. Lanes, no, I don't want this. I want lanes only. Okay. TGIF to all the behinders. I don't know what that means either. But welcome in, Fenor. Alright, so the working width on this thing is not being calculated properly. Let's get it calculating properly. So, no, I want this one. No. We need a keybind here. Control, vehicle gearbox, enhance vehicle, increased snap direction, increase width of tracks. There it is. Control up. Decrease width of track. Control down. And then go. Save. Okay. So now we just do this. Perfect. Let's go 7 meters. See if 7 meters works. Actually, 7 meters seems right on the money. looks good. Time until lines are hidden, 5 seconds. Why are they not hiding? Behind her. I forget, where are you, Fenora? What part of the world? If it's Saturday where you are, does that mean you're like Pac? Australia? Okay. I was gonna say, like Australia, Pacific, the Pacific Rim kind of thing. He's from down under. Yeah, I'm actually I work with a team who's located in Australia. And so we're constantly dealing with those kind of it's already tomorrow stuff. 26,000. Do I have enough money to buy a roller? I saw that Gutzler Mayer one. And the other one that I downloaded, but I don't know if I have enough money to buy them. I am missing a few mods that I really loved in 22. One of them is the Dalbo multi-roller. I was really surprised that a lot of that very simple, basic stuff just didn't make the transition. You know what I mean? Like, I know that Giants is like, I think HT modding is someone internal to Giants who has access to the original files. And he seems to be, whoever that is, they seem to be releasing a lot of those smaller things, smaller pieces of equipment that weren't part of the original transition to 25. I'm gonna do this little corner while I'm here. And they seem to be releasing them relatively quickly. They seem to have some kind of secret connection at Giants where they can get their stuff tested much faster than anyone else. Which is good for the community, bad for other modders. Some way. But at least some of that stuff's coming back out. So I'm missing the multi-roller. I hope Mac Trucker's working on it. Because that was one of I personally always like a Swiss Army type of tool. You know, a tool that does more than one thing at once. Kind of like the mower, my mower that I've made. You know, it does a bunch of stuff. And it has configuration options. It lets you use it for a bunch of different stuff. That's just the way I like to operate. It's the way I like to build. It's the way I like to work. When I build mods, I always build my mods to be able to be used for more than one thing. You know, I could have released the contracting mod that just allowed swathing on missions. But I'm like, no, I'm going to make it a Swiss Army knife and let it allow lots of stuff. And I hope that kind of attitude makes mods better for everyone. This is not... Seriously? With the ground deformation, it's hard to tell, like, if I'm actually seeding everything. or if I'm totally missing spots. It looks a little bit like I'm missing stuff, but I can't tell. Can't tell. Let's look at the map. See how I'm doing in the map. Thank you for saving. Great time for saving. Oh, I am getting everything. Okay, cool. There's a spot here that got missed. And there's a spot right here in the middle that was mulched somehow. I don't have the mulching feature turned on, so I don't know how that happened. Alright, let's fix this little spot, and then we're gonna do another headland because I can't turn around a single headland. We're just going over this little spot here because it keeps missing. It seems like it's getting caught on something. That's one thing that it's a realism thing that I'm not sure I'm okay with that they did in 25, where they have this this new idea of like more tool movement. But sometimes that more tool movement causes things to miss. Like you're mowing with the big M, right? Standard base game big M. But now when you're mowing, like the arms will go like they'll just bounce like randomly. And it's not because of anything in the ground. They just bounce randomly because immersion or something, right? But the problem is when they bounce, they miss. It misses whole like chunks of stuff that you're working on. And while that does provide realism, a mower is not gonna, like, if you're mowing something, a tool is not gonna jump so much that it comes out of the ground and stops doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's super, super unlikely. And this happens every couple seconds. And I understand realism. I understand they're trying to make it realistic. I get you. I understand. I'm not saying that realism's bad. I'm saying that Giants needs to turn the levels up or down appropriately in certain places. Because some places it's just like, really? So the other thing is that to get around that, you have to build code in your mods so that they won't skip. Like this one right here. Here's a prime example, right? There's no way this seeder should have missed that spot. None. There's no way. That's just... Look at it. It missed. And I can only assume that it's because it's too bumpy or something. I don't know. One thing I do like is the smooth tool now raises and lowers. So now I have to turn around. I have to go over that spot again now that I've smoothed it out. Do it again. And from a realistic setting, maybe that's totally valid. I get it, you know. But from a gameplay, that's just annoying. Like there's another spot right there that it totally got missed. Oh well. And the lines aren't going away. I'll put them away by myself. back to Bruce's comment, he was saying that it makes it look like they're showing favorites, or talking about modding. And I would agree, it does. And there's no nice way to say that. They are. Or it appears that they are. And, you know, I would love to be proven wrong. That they weren't. But from all intensive purposes, or from what we can see as a community, that's what it seems like. They're playing favorites. Right? I had the contract boost update, which was submitted to ModHub within hours of the game getting released, or of the original mod getting released. Once I realized there was a bug, that update took 3 weeks, or yeah, 3 weeks to get released, where someone else can get an update released in a matter of hours, and you see it over and over and over. Like, you see, oh, somebody released so and so, and then they have another update come out, and if that another update comes out in less time than everyone else's update comes out, that means favorites. That means that they're putting preference on certain people or certain mods that they deem worthy. And that's, I don't know. That's not how I would do it. You know, that's not how I would do things, because showing preference or showing favorites is, you know, any kid who is any kid who has a brother or sister when they were or weren't the favorite knows what that feels like. It feels like crap. And is that what they want us to feel? It seems like it. I'm swinging really wide on these to make sure I can straighten them out, because it takes a little bit for them to straighten out. Oh, awesome. Thanks, JD Warner. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back for more. I do these live streams usually twice a week. I'm doing 2 different series right now. So definitely come back for more if you're enjoying what you're seeing. This 7-meter width seems a little less than I want now. I think once I finish those other 2 passes, I'm going to increase it to like 7.4 or something. The nice thing about these cedars is they're cheap. I think if we look in the store, they're like $4 grand a piece. There's 3 versions. There's this one, which is like a 3-point mounter, which is pretty cool. But this one's smaller. That's 2.3. Then the double, oh, it's supposed to be 7.3. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. So if you install both of them, it's supposed to be 7.3. So now I know what my width is. Have a great day, JD, and thanks for coming in. But I was doing these kind of weird Zamboni passes at 7 meters, so I have to finish those 7-meter passes. And I'll redo my tracks for 7.3. It would help if I actually followed the track. Perfect. What else is going on? So, other things going on. Finishing up that contract boost multiplayer bug that's going on. Once the multiplayer is all settled, I'll be submitting contract boost to ModHub for review, which, you know, will take a month or something like that. And that should fix multiplayer. It's going to fix... it's going to add preferences. It's going to add a settings page into the settings panel so that you can just set all your settings in the game. Don't have to worry about XML files. Which is really, really great. I'm super excited to get that update out. It's turned out, it looks really cool. It acts really cool. The only downside is that some of those settings don't take effect right away, and you need to save and restart your game. And then right now, it's hard to communicate that to the player. So I'm still trying to figure that out before I get the release out. It's good. BPW is moving along. I've got most of the forage wagons in there now, and I have half of them or so colored, which is great. I'm slowly working on this mod here, the black editions. Lots of forestry stuff so far, and stuff that's I'm using in my gameplays, basically. And that's the reason for which ones are there and which ones aren't. Just because I'm kind of doing them as I play with them. I don't have enough time to go through and just do every vehicle right away. I'll get to them. But, so let's go Control +++. Shift it over again. There. This is 7.3, so let's see if 7.3 works. This is what the mod says that its width is, so... yeah, that looks good. Looks legit. Hide the lines and move on. Sweet. How's it going, Braden? Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We're just doing some seeding on Frontier. Really, really, really liking this map so far. As I get to see more of the map, as I move outside of my little area, I'm just enjoying everything I'm seeing. And it's the little things that make it different. Like if you look at the trees, and this is just something that Ola did. It just adds a little bit more color to the map. If you look at the trees, they're not all straight. And I know that's a super simple, small thing. But they're not all straight up and down. They tilt very slightly. Like here, there, there, right? So the rotation and tilt of the trees is very slight. And then the additional thing that Giants added, as you can see right here, is that they move in the wind. They kind of rock in the wind, which is totally accurate. And then the way the trees are, where there's a great variety of trees and the spacing is all really random, is something that I really hope that other mod map makers learn from, because we've seen too many of those other maps that don't put enough variety into the trees, and they end up looking like they're in rows, and they just don't look great. And while there's nothing wrong with that from a gameplay perspective, it's just like, any idea why it didn't rate higher in ModHub? Well, I don't know. How did it rate in ModHub? 3.4? What the hell? What? 3.4? Wow. That's... Travis, that's super, super surprising to me. Like, really surprising to me. And it has that. It has the numbers, right? It's got 1100 ratings. What was it? 1124 ratings. My field's coming along. 1100 ratings. Yeah, 1124 ratings, but 3.4. Ouch. I do think it's the everyone's cup of tea thing. I would agree with that. I'm surprised that more people didn't like it, but it is what it is. Not everyone likes a wilderness map, but at the same time, I don't think you should vote a map down or give it a bad rating just because it's not your cup of tea. I can understand not rating it because it's not your cup of tea. That makes sense. But voting it down or giving it a negative rating just because it's not what you want, you know, if you're a player and you really want an American map to be released, should you vote down a European map just because you really want an American map? You know what I mean? And I know that, you know, we can't control how people vote, but I haven't seen anything wrong with this map. Right? Like, and he's released 2 updates so far, and those updates have all been amazing. He added functionality. He got the first map out for FS25. It's still the only map out. And it has everything that a wilderness map should have. I don't think there's anything that's really missing. I think the only little thing, and it's not even like, I wouldn't even consider it something that's missing. The only thing that's missing is it doesn't have destructible rock missions. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. And it doesn't have productions built in. But it's a wilderness map. It's not supposed to. Right? So, I'm not sure I get why people would rate it low. It's not like it's a big download. Yeah, I think that the forestry option should have more trees. I think the forestry option should have more so from what I've heard, Bruce, and this is from Ola, is it did have more trees. But Giants actually told him to he added in the spruce trees from FS22 because he wanted more options for trees, more variety, and he wanted a different look to the map. And the spruce trees added that look. But Giants told them to remove them. That the 22 trees didn't meet 25 standards or something silly like that. So it actually did have more trees at some point. But to be fair to Ola, and if you compare this against the only other thing that it can be compared against, which would be No Man's Land, is there's more trees on this map than there were on No Man's Land. The downside is that on No Man's Land, the trees that were there were the spruce trees, which are worth more from a profit standpoint. I mean, he toned it down because of console too. Yeah. It sucks to say, Eric. You know what? That comment bothers me. Not what you're saying bothers me. It sucks that we're still having to tone stuff down for console. If that makes any sense, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not supporting the PS4s anymore. We're not supporting the first gen Xbox Ones. So why are map makers and or modders still having to tone stuff down? I don't get that. And where are all the trees from Silver Run? We got a couple of them. Not all of them, but a couple of them. Where are the rest of them? I actually kind of miss the spruce trees. The difference is the sight lines for me. The difference is the sight lines. Because for spruce trees, there's a lot of branches down low. And for these trees that are on this map, most of the branches are up high. And so you have a much better sight line down low, which makes your forests feel sparse. Whereas the spruce trees had a lot of trees, had a lot of branches down low, which filled out your forests and made them your sight lines different. So forests or clumps of trees really felt like clumps of trees because you couldn't see through them. But with these trees, the trees that are on this map and the ones that are in most of the games, without talking about like the oak and whatnot that giants used on their maps, the forestable trees essentially, you have this like kind of not only a sightline problem, but it's like too much of a sightline. Where I think the sightline's too. I think it's too much. It doesn't feel the same. Oh really? Yeah, I saw that too. I'm actually looking forward to Renabu, Eric, from what I've seen so far from his development streams. It looks really cool. I never got to play that section of the map because when I started playing with you on your server, we were playing in the kind of the middle area. And when I played on my own, I played in the south, kind of near the lumber mill. And so I've never actually spent any time up in that upper section of the map. I think other than making a delivery here or there. So in some ways, I'm actually looking forward to experiencing Renabu again. I'm bummed that it's only a 2x, and I'm surprised that there's a limitation from Giants on releasing something as a 4x. Like, how does Giants have anything to say about how he builds his map? That I don't get. I'm not sure I understand that. Not supporting PS5? You mean PS4? Is some form of discrimination? Well, not really. I don't think so. I think not supporting older generation consoles is a decision that I'm glad Giants made. And it's not supporting it because of discrimination or something like that. I know you're just joking. But it's hardware requirements and performance requirements. And with all of the new fancy stuff that's in this game, like the fog that you can see over here in that left corner, that takes performance, right? Yeah. And so that's why we don't support the older consoles. That's why the specs, the minimum specs for your computer have been turned up. It's because the new game requires new specs. Stick with the times. You have to remember that the older consoles, like PS4 and the Xbox One, those are 10 years old now. Or more. Isn't the PS3 or PS4 like 13 years old? I think I will remember seeing. I don't know. I don't play on PlayStation, so. But yeah, Eric, I agree. They need to follow the standardized restrictions from Sony and Microsoft and not making up their own rules. And in all honesty, I also think that they shouldn't restrict certain types of things from being played on a console of some kind from a performance perspective. Right? Like, hear me out. Like, let's say I'm playing a map on a PS5. And I have a version of that map, or they have like couldn't I almost think that would be great if map authors could release in the same mod high performance versions, right? So like right now, like for the example of this map and the removal of all the extra trees that OLED had added to the forestry version, or the limitations that were just kind of toned down for console, right? We're talking about that. Why couldn't they? Why did they make that happen? I don't get that. If you're playing the forestry version, can't you just have a high and low setting? And not only that, why can't there be a high and low performance setting in the map itself, like in the game code? I.e., you have a block of trees, like in your you have a node in your node tree that is the high performance setting, right? And basically you have a set of items, objects, trees, whatever, that you only render when someone's on ultra or high settings. So it's the same map, same content, but you give the ability for the map author to provide extra content to people whose systems can handle it. Like, why hold back? And this is something that Giants has been doing for a long time. Why hold back everyone because of the least common denominator, right? That's just a general principle. In some ways, you want to be able to tailor the game and thus the mods themselves as part of the game. You want to be able to have high and low performance versions of it, right? Let us build it into the game files. Let us tailor maps for, you know, higher end systems. Like, why can't I would love to see Renabu come out with one download that has 2 versions of the map in it. It probably won't happen, but you know, one version that's like this one has multiple maps. But basically, or any map for that matter, have a high performance version. That, you know, that you have to have ultra settings or high performance settings. You have to be set into one of those performance modes to even enable that map. So you could have a version of this map with more trees, right? Just because you logged into the map and you had high performance settings, and suddenly it rendered those extra trees. And it only happens once when you generate the map. It's just not like something you have to process constantly. But like, don't hold back one part of your audience just because of something simple like a performance limitation. That's what most games do. Right, but at the same time, like, since these trees are procedurally generated, right, it would be pretty easy, from the way I understand the way it works, is to have 2 groups of trees. One group of trees is the console version, and then have a high performance version that has more trees. And then it's the same map, you're just hiding and showing a node. And if you are on high performance version, you enable more trees. Or even do something as simple as have a trigger by the store. Like Alien Jim used to do, where you cut down a little thing and it you know, removes all the trees from the map. Why not do something like that, but do it the other way around? Where you have a one-time toggle at the store that says, you know, enhance map for high resolution or something, right? And you click something, and once you click it, the switch goes away, but suddenly there's twice as many trees on the map. It's all the same download. It's just hiding and showing a node that's there. That could be possible. That's something to think about. Maybe that's something that I can like work on for my map someday whenever I build one. Is having some kind of like high performance detail toggle. Right? I mean, the idea is simple enough. I'm gonna leave these here. And the last thing I'm gonna do is go to the store and get a roller. Actually, the last thing I'm gonna do is just go to the store. I think I'm gonna go ahead and mod one of those rollers from the base game and get that for next time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a roller, start rolling that, get that field rolled, and probably move on to the next day. But that's actually gonna be it for me today. I'm actually right at the end of my time for today. We've had a fun discussion about mods and giants, like we always do in some ways. And I don't necessarily mean to always harp on giants or the way they do things, but they're asking for it. In all honesty, they're asking for it with the way that they're doing things. And that, to me, fair game. As far as I'm concerned, totally fair game. I'm just sad, honestly. And so, well, I'm sad because I worked so hard to get stuff out that I wanted to get out for consoles and have stuff that's for consoles for all platforms. And I worked really hard to get that out in time so that it would be available for while Giants was on their quote-unquote break. I worked really hard to do that. And to be here sitting with dozens or hundreds or who knows of other mods and modders just sitting waiting for almost a month to get those things tested and released just really sucks. Sorry, I'm reading Eric's comment. Why should Giants try thinking new when 70% of players are begging old stuff to come back all the time? I think they do it because of the money, honestly. I think because of, sponsorships and deals that they have. That's why all the equipment in the game is new. There's almost no older equipment, and everyone wants the older equipment, but there's no older equipment because there's no money in older equipment, because only the new stuff is what's making them money. I feel like this version of the game 25, when we got it, we got a lot of new features and a lot of new things that people like, but at the same time they took away a lot of stuff that we expected as players that wouldn't get taken away. And I think it's this like, on one hand we're getting a bunch of new stuff, and on the other hand you're taking away stuff. And I think that's, as a player, it's kind of hurts, right? And I understand for, file size limits and blah, 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 blah. But why is it taking so long to get that stuff back? Why is it taking so long to get that stuff released as mods? You have all the assets. Why? I don't get it. Why is it taking so long to test people's mods? If you want the modding community to stand in, this is what I've been saying for a long. I'll leave you guys with this. If Giants wants the modding community to fill in the gaps where they were not able to do it for whatever reason, then the process for doing that needs to get better, not worse. And it's getting worse. To me, those are going two different directions. In one hand, you want the modding community to stand in and do your job for you and fill out the holes in ModHub that you created but then you're not going to actually support the modding community doing that. I don't get it. But again, you know, all that's Ghost. That's off in the middle of nowhere, but that's also it for me today. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna keep playing. I hope everyone else keeps playing the game. I know that right now it's kind of because we haven't got any maps yet. We haven't really gotten any mods. We've gotten a lot of mods, but we're still missing a lot of stuff. And a lot of what we're getting is just the same thing. We're not getting anything new. And I think that's a bummer. But for me, that's it for me today. I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll catch everyone next time. Bye-bye. Again, with the wrong screen. Keep doing that. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.